Hey, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm still getting myself together, so thank you for being patient with me on this. But I wanted to spend a couple minutes and talk to you about what is going on right now with this school coming back in session. I cannot believe that summer went by so fast. Summer always starts off very slow and then it speeds by super fast, and before you know it, you're trying to figure out what happened, where my lunch boxes at, where the backpacks, all the things. So the purpose of this video is to give you a few tips and things to do and to consider as you're preparing to get back to school with your kids. I have my notes here, so I want to make sure I don't forget anything. And if you haven't done so already, let's set some ground rules first here. I love that you are here for this video. I appreciate you for being here for this video. If you could just take a second and just hit that subscribe button, it would just do all the good in the world for me, okay? Hit that subscribe button. Be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss another upload from Live the Season Life. So my name is Shauna. Thank you for being here. Okay, so 1 minute we're on the beach, and the next minute we are looking for lunch boxes and figuring out who didn't dump their lunchbox before we actually got into summer, because what is that green thing in the lunchbox? So anyway, if the idea of early mornings and chaotic schedules and things like that just give you the heebie-jeebies like they do to me, then you're in the right place. Okay, so I want you first to consider a couple things. One, declutter your drop zone. The drop zone, that place, and for some people, they have the luxury of having a full mudroom. If that is your ministry, by all means, I love it for you and I want it for me. But if that is not your space, then whatever space that when you first enter your home, where the book bags get dropped, the shoes get dropped, all the things get dropped, that is a spot to focus on first. Decluttering that space. Oftentimes, your old book bags are going to be there from last summer or last season. Your old lunch boxes, old water bottles, if you haven't been using them over the course of the summer. So this is a good thing to send the kids for if they're a little bit older and can manage this. And even if they're younger, just tell them to get the things and bring them to you. And then you can sit there together and sort through them, because oftentimes there are a bunch of old papers and old documents and old drawings and things and notes from their friends and stuff that they forgot they even had. So it's a good opportunity to clean out all that stuff, declutter it so it's good and clean and ready for the school year. So as you're decluttering, throw away the things that are trash, obviously. The things that you can reuse for the school year, put those to the side if they need to be cleaned or tidied up. Make sure you have that ready. But also, as you're decluttering, keep a mental note of things that you need to possibly purchase or thrift as you're going into the school year. So if the book bags have holes in them and they can't be repaired, if the lunchbox is looking like it's had one too many lunches in it, things like that, that you can just kind of, take a little note to the side and say, I need to pick up a lunchbox, I need to pick up a book bag, or what have you. Keep note of those items so you can make sure to have them ready for the school year. So declutter those drop zones so you can have a nice clean entryway. So morning goes by so much more efficiently and so much more swiftly as you're getting back into the school year. Number two, this one is going to seem very odd, but just trust me on this one. If you're like me and you're in an area where right now you're going through a heat wave, it feels like 110 degrees outside, find those old jackets and those old coats and gloves and scarves and hats and whatever it is that you use for winter or for the fall. Find them and clean them now. Okay. There are a lot of people who don't clean their coats. And I used to be one of those people, but then I think once I kind of got into having kids and realizing that kids can get all kinds of craziness on their stuff. It's a good opportunity to take those fall coats, those fall jackets, those winter coats, and give them a good wash, give them a good dry, whatever the laundering instructions are on those coats and jackets. Get all that done now, because the cold snap is not going to give you a warning. It's not going to say, hey, you have a week until it cold. No, it's going. You wake up one morning and it's 42 degrees outside and your kid only has shorts. So go ahead and grab those jackets, those coats, all those things, give them a good wash, give them a good dry, hang them up nicely so they're ready to go when you actually need them. And another thing is, as you were kind of going through and thinking about what do I need to purchase for the school year, if the coats and jackets and things are too small, if they have holes in them that can't be repaired, or if they are otherwise in disrepair, consider thrifting them, trading them, purchasing new, whatever fits your budget, fits your style. Go ahead and get that taken care of now. While we only have a couple more weeks left of summer, you can actually have more time to get those things done. So get those jackets and those coats, get them all cleaned up, okay? So we're going to declutter our drop zone. We're going to clean out our jackets. The next thing you're going to do is to go through your kids' closets and purge. Purge, purge, purge. Because first of all, they are not the same size that they were last year. I just found out that my son he's 10 years old. He is now in men's size shoes, which means his shoes cost the same amount that my husband's shoes cost. And it's going to take me a minute to sit with that. Okay? In any case, figure out what fits and what doesn't. Go through the kids' shoes, what needs to be repaired, replaced, sized up. Be honest with yourself about what size a child wears, because the child may not be in child's clothing sizes anymore. My daughter wears a women's extra small. Go figure. So, have your kids try things on, donate what you can't use, make a list before you kind of go out there and go school shopping. I know my kids have already asked me, Mommy, what day are we going school shopping? And I have not given them an answer yet because I don't know. So go ahead and purge those closets. It's a great activity to do with the kids, honestly, to keep them busy on a weekend or on an evening where they feel like they're bored and they have nothing to do. Okay, let's go through your closets. All right, let's figure out what underwear do you have or not have? What needs to be sized up? What do you have holes in that I didn't know about? Figure out those socks. Figure out if your daughter or young lady is getting into bras. Figure out the whole bra situation. Does she have what she really needs? Figure out your tops, your pants, those shirts that fit beautifully last year, maybe crop tops on your girl right now because she's grown. So make sure you have all those things in order. If you have school uniforms, get that taken care of as well. Make sure you get rid of what doesn't fit and make a list of what you need. And in fact, I think what I might do is I'll put on my website, livetheseasonlife.com, if you look under shop and downloads, I'm going to put a downloadable list of clothing items to consider purchasing for your kid as they go into the school year. Just something easy to help you kind of check the boxes and make sure you're not forgetting anything as you're going through your kids' closets. The next thing is more administrative. Number 4 rather. Confirm school registration. My kids, we attend public school, and they require, for returning students as well, you have to complete registration every single year. And for us, registration includes proof of residence, which might look like your property tax bill or your utility bills. Also notarizing documents to confirm that what you're saying is actually true. In some places, they might require vaccination records, so you need to go to your child's physician and to get that taken care of. All those things, double check and make sure that those forms and documents are in place. Find your notary, a good tip. So we have a couple of notaries that are in our neighborhood that we can go to. But the, the public library offers notary services. UPS and FedEx typically offer notary services where you can just sort of walk in and get that done for a fee, I believe, like $15 or so. But you can get things notarized at the public library. My tip, call ahead, make an appointment because they're not often on staff, like, full office hour or full open hours for the library. So call ahead and make an appointment. But be prepared to have to go through the process of getting things notarized. Your bank probably offers a notary service as well. So just confirm your school registration and make sure that your kid can even go to school in the first place. All right. To that point, administratively, sync the kids' school calendar. So my school has a number. And I love this for them. I love this for the experience for the kids. But I have never seen more early dismissal school spirit days in my entire life. Okay. So make sure you get those early dismissals, school spirit days, PTA nights, teacher nights, boosterathon, and, school fundraiser nights and things. Get that on the schedule now, because that way it'll be a lot easier for you as the school goes on. As an example, so I have my massive planner here. Shout out to Fancy Plans Co. because I love their products. It's a Black-owned, woman-owned company, and they make planner supplies, and it is everything. And so in my planner every year, I actually print out. So I'm old school. Some things I just need to have printed, okay? I have printed out the school calendar in my planner, as well as the transportation and bell schedule. So it tells me exactly, if there's early release or if it's, and this is for all the schools in the district. This isn't just for my one school. Okay. That's why the list is so long. It's, if there's a half day, if there's an early release, what's the arrival time and all this kind of stuff for my kids' school. So I have that that I've just printed out and just put it into my planner, so that way I already know, and I always have quick access to the school calendar versus having to go back to the website, look it up, and blah, 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 find the bookmark, yada, yada, yada. I have it in my planner, so it's ready to go for me. So make sure you sync the school calendar, and also consider, putting those items on your refrigerator or someplace, especially if you have non-digital kids. Both of my kids are more or less non-digital. More or less, the 13-year-old is we're getting there. We getting there. We don't trust the world with her yet. But never mind. Never mind that. Get that and print it out if you need to, or get a whiteboard or something. Put it on the refrigerator so your non-digital kids can keep track of when does school start, when does school end, when are the early dismissal days, what are the days for, school spirit day and things like that. So they already know, and they can just look at the refrigerator or look at your drop zone calendar or wherever you keep it and know what to expect as the school year wears on. Okay, number 6. This is near and dear to my heart because I just dealt with this yesterday. So my daughter got her school schedule. She's going into 8th grade, and she got her school schedule at the end of the school year, at the beginning of the summer. So being the type A person that she is, which I love for her and I love for me too, she actually went through and did her summer assignments for her upcoming school year. She already did them the first week and a half of summer. She dedicated to doing her summer assignments, getting it all out of the way so she could enjoy her summer in peace, right? Love that. I didn't ask her to do that. I didn't force her to do that. She did it completely on her own. And for that, I am so proud of her. However, when we went to the school registration day, the facts and fees where they make you pay all the money and get all the information for the school year, we got an updated schedule for her indicating that she tested into Honors English, which I love that for her and I'm so proud of her. However, Honors English has an entirely different assignment than the typical English class that she would have been going into, that she thought about or that we knew about at the end of the school year, which means she has to do the assignment for Honors English and she only has 2 weeks to do it. We couldn't have predicted this. We wish we had known. And if I had been thinking about it, I would have gone into the portal and looked it up. But hindsight's 2020, right? So check summer assignments for your kid to make sure you've completed everything. If your child is, I'm just going to ballpark it here. If your child is going into the 5th grade or beyond, there's probably a summer assignment for them. To some degree, there might be from the 3rd grade and beyond. It depends on your school district and your school. But go online to your school's website and find out if there are summer assignments. If you're not sure, call the school. Usually administrative staff are back in session or back at work late July, early August. So call them and find out, hey, are there summer assignments that I need to be mindful of? So that you're not scrambling the night before the first day of school to find a book, read the book, do the assignment on the book, and all the things that really could have been done over the course of the summer if you had more time. So check for summer assignments. Make sure you know what's due on week 1. Okay. Next, this kind of goes back to what I was saying about, making the list. You think about, what coats that need to be replaced and things like that. Make school supply shopping a tradition. In our household, this has worked wonderfully well. It may not work for yours, but this is what works for ours, and I recommend it to anyone. And that is, make a list of all the things that you think you need for the school year, the personal things like your coats, new underwear, new pants, or what have you. Make a list of all those things and make it a school supply shopping tradition where you pick a day or 2 days leading up to the school year, and you go and you focus on purchasing the items or thrifting the items that you need for the new school year. Included in that as well is the school supply list that your school typically provides for your upcoming school year that you're going into. So I normally print this because my kids are fairly non-digital in this way. I normally print the school supply list out, and my boy gets his, my daughter gets hers, and they both get a pen or a pencil or something and something hard to press down on. And we go to the store and they can go around the little school supply area and checking off the things that they get and making sure we have everything they need for the school year. The same goes for clothes as well, especially my daughter being 13. She wants to buy her own stuff. And I get it. I've been 13 before. I totally get it. So make sure that if she needs, 3 new outfits, that you put 3 new outfits on the list so you don't get sidetracked and end up with 7 shirts and only 1 pair of pants, So make that school supply shopping list a tradition. Stock up for Spirit Days. I actually posted on Instagram about this. Excuse me. I'm going to have a sip of my tea here. It's probably the problem. School supply days. Sorry, school spirit days. Comment down below if your school does a lot of school spirit days, and what do those school spirit days look like? For younger kids, it might be like the 100th day of school, where the kid dresses like someone who is 100 years old, or 100 dots, a shirt with 100 black dots on it, like a Dalmatian, for 100 days of school. It could be a number of things, but I recommend that when you are stocking up for the school year and doing that school supply shopping, that you grab shirts in primary colors, grab some swag for your school's team, with school logo on it, and or professional sports team jerseys and swag. Grab that too, because there's going to be a favorite sports team situation going on in the early year, or sorry, in the fall. Also grab something that is luau or Hawaiian inspired. Y'all, I can't tell you how many times my kids have woken up in the morning on a school day and said, oh, we have to wear a Hawaiian shirt today. And I'm like, we don't have Hawaiian shirts. That's not part of our normal purchasing for school. So just, consider those things that you might want to grab and have them on hand, because you never know when that school spirit day is going to come. And the kid's never going to tell you days in advance so you can prepare. They're always going to tell you either right before they're going to bed or right before it's time to walk out the door for school that day. Oh, make sure you grab some pajamas. A pair of nice pajamas that are suitable to be worn in public. I have my kids. My daughter had a favorite babysitter that gifted her some frozen pajamas when she was like 3. That child wore those pajamas until she was 6, until they literally fell apart. Point is, you don't want to be stuck with your kid having, special pajama day at school, and all you have are holy pajamas that make the school want to call public services on you and do a home check. So get a nice pair of pajamas, get crazy socks, crazy hats, all those things, okay? But comment down below, what kind of school spirit activities or days do your kids, do their schools host? Couple more things here. Reinstate bedtime routines. Summer is, there's no routine in summer. There's no routine in summer. There's just not. So consider, looking at what time does your kid need to be to bed at night? What time do they need to be up in the morning? And use that to identify how you need to start adjusting your schedule, kid's schedule now, so they can kind of ease into the routine. Because it's hard to go cold turkey from staying up to 10 o'clock at night to now we got to be in bed at 7, and it's just not going to work well. So figure out now how you can sort of taper down their bedtime so that it fits and so they can actually acclimate to that well. Prep for after school activities. So oftentimes the schedule for after school and extracurricular activities is going to be different in the school year than it is in the summer. So make sure you sync that. Make sure you add it to, your planner or your on your whiteboard or your document on the fridge or in the drop zone, so the kids actually know what they're doing and when they're doing it. Also, update your babysitter list. Oftentimes babysitters graduate and they go on to college or go on to other things or move away. So make sure your list of babysitters is up to date and that those sitters are still in the business of babysitting, so that you don't have to, scramble for a babysitter when you need one. And last but not least, this is tip number 11, okay? This is a bonus tip. It's something that I know I often forget, but I have to kind of reset myself and remember, I've been through school, right? Most of you watching have already been through elementary school and so on, at least, or high school. It's easy to think that, oh, piece of cake, we got this, but sometimes your kid may not feel like they have it. So, this time of year is a good time to do a one-on-one check-in with your kid. It may take a couple of tries to get them to actually open up, but find out, like, how are they feeling? Are they nervous? Are they excited? Just let them talk and share. Listen without kind of creating. It's important to listen and give them space to speak without trying to fix it in the moment. Just give them time to air out whatever their issues are, whatever their concerns are. And that way you can sort of, build trust with them and let them know that, that you're available for them to hear what's on their heart and hear what they're thinking about and hear what's really troubling them or what they're really excited about. So it's a good time to sort of build some relationship with your child as they're preparing to go into the school year, because for some kids, it makes them really nervous and anxious to go into a classroom full of kids that they potentially don't know. I mean, depending on your school, especially if you've moved to a different area, a different location, you're walking into a room full of strangers, okay? If you are not moving to a new location, you might only have one stranger in the classroom, but it still is a new situation. It's a new teacher, new expectations. You're going into a higher level of math, of English, of science, of social studies, of foreign language, of all the things that you're preparing for. If you're in high school, it's, another layer to get closer to college and all these things you're supposed to be doing, which, feel like big responsibilities because they are. So take a minute to check in with your child and let them know that you believe in them and mean it when you say it, that you believe in them, that you're there for them, and that there is no need for them to struggle on their own, and that any issue that they have, that they can come to you about it, whether it has to do with schoolwork or relationships or, whatever. So that is my list of things. I appreciate you for being here. Let me know comment down below, which one was your favorite? Which one was the one that you were like, I didn't think about that. I need to make sure that I, hammer in on that one. Or what other tips and topics do you have on your list of things that you're doing to prepare for the school year? Because this is a community that we're building here. So let this be something that you can share so that other moms, other dads, other parents can sort of have their hat on about things that they need to be thinking about, and they can prepare accordingly for their kids going off to school. So I hope this was helpful for you. Engage with me. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I want to keep this content coming, and comment down below if there are other topics that you want me to cover as I continue on in this kind of, preparing for back to school. Let me know. Be sure to watch out for the blog post, livetheseasonlife.com. And if you want regular updates on what's going on in the blog when things launch and things like that, be sure to fill out the, notify me newsletter sign up now link. I'll try to make it a little bit more prominent so it's easier for you to find. But that's what I got for you. So thank you for being here. The blog site includes, recipes like the go-to recipe that I use every school year to kind of help make mornings a little bit easier. My famous muffins in this household. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for stopping by and for spending some time with me. I hope this time has been as productive for you as it's been for me. I really enjoy sharing these topics and these tips. And I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and live season. Bye.